cross-train others as you have learned these skills. You need to practice these skills. Okay, so transportation. This is another resource. What transportation, what forms of transportation are you going to have available to you? And then how are you going to get to these different locations? So for example, in the snowstorm, it may or may not make that big of a difference unless you are out and have to get back to your shelter location, i.e. your home. Okay. That's kind of an important thing to know. Now, if you have a bug out situation where you have to leave where you are and go to some other place because that is the point of safety and not where you currently reside, do you have enough fuel for each of these vehicles in order to get to those locations or that location? Okay. And then where are these vehicles going to be located? Are they at work? Are they at home? Are they, in the barn down on the property somewhere? Whatever it is, wherever they are, these all need to be identified. Okay. You also need to identify different routes from a shelter in place, i.e. your home, to a bug out location. And you need to have more than one. Okay. Because you never know what's going to happen. You may have to change. People coming from different locations, say like you have family members, they all know to come to your location. If there is only one way to get to that location, then there's a chance that they may not be able to make it, or that you may not be able to make it to a certain location. So you need to have places where people can link up and then continue on with the mission to get to wherever you need to go. Okay, so what types of vehicles? Do you have enough fuel? Make sure you put the fuel additive like Sta-Bil or something in it so that the fuel doesn't go bad on you. And then where are they located? Okay. Medical. Medical, so first off, we want to make sure that we have adequate medical supplies, bandages, ointments, and aseptics and stuff. I recommend that you do the natural remedies first, but in the interest of like getting from point A to point B, you may just have to patch somebody up or whatever. You may just, somebody gets a small burn or something on the way there. They touch a muff or whatever. Have stuff that will work then, but you want to focus a lot of your effort on natural remedies and natural methods of treating diseases and combating infections and wounds. Okay, especially if you're in a situation or you anticipate a situation where there's going to be that civilized veneer is peeled off and you're not going to be able to get resupplied, you're not going to get other outside medical assistance. Okay, I recommend that everybody take a CPR course and first aid skills. That's all part of these skills that you need to make sure that you identify. Okay, so now when it comes to medical, what actions we take if a medical emergency occurs? Okay, who in the group is going to be your doctor or your medic? Okay, and then some of the questions that you want to ask: are there going to be medical facilities available? Okay, in certain situations, for example, this snowstorm, the chances of being able to get to a medical facility is going to be kind of slim. In the case of stuff has hit the fan, the end of the world as we know it, medical supply or medical facilities probably will not exist, or they will be so overwhelmed that you might as well not even show up there. But you want to identify where they are and if they're going to be safe. Odds are, if it's other than a short duration type of natural disaster, odds are that the facilities will not be safe and they will not be anywhere near where you can get to, or they will be so overwhelmed that you won't be able to get treatment there anyway. Um, what medical supplies are available, both at the medical facility and at your location. Now, your best bet is to have the medical facilities on site or the medical supplies on site, um, and that you have people who are able to utilize those different supplies in order to, patch, cure disease, what have you. Okay. Um, and the other part, along with the medical, is the dental. And I know a lot of folks kind of don't like to think about that. I'm not exactly a fan of a dentist, but a dental injury, whether it's a broken tooth, abscessed tooth, whatever, can lay low even the toughest individual. Okay, so you do need to make sure that you have some kind of a dental capability wherever you're going to be at. Um, Personnel roster. You're going to want to make sure that you have a list of all the people that are in your group or that are part of your group, and make sure you take a head count when at various times to ensure that everybody is present. Okay, and that continues even after the event occurs, because people will be going out to get like firewood or to get water or to do whatever. In the case of stuff has hit the fan, you're going to have people on guard duty out there. So you're going to want to make sure that you know where everybody is in order to make sure that they are safe. Okay. And then you're going to want to know what their strengths and weaknesses are. Not everybody is going to be a trigger puller in the case of a stuff has hit the fan scenario. Not everybody can take the life of another human. That's not something that you want to do. So identify those who can be a trigger puller, those who can't be. Identify those who can do medical stuff. Identify those who have dental. All of these different skill sets. These are all the things that you need to know about these people, because then you're going to also do what we call a duty roster in the Army. Even in the snowstorm, you're going to probably want somebody, at least one person awake at all times to ensure that nobody tries to break in and take what you have or to do harm to those that you have been entrusted with. Okay, so that's why you're going to have a duty roster, and part of that duty roster is going to be guard duty. That means they need to be awake to keep an eye on everybody while everybody else is asleep. So basically, you can rotate it in shifts. How many ever people you have, that's basically how many you have to divide 24 hours up in. Okay. Now, guard duty needs to continue even during the waking hours, because even if you're not on guard duty, but it's during the day, then you need to be on guard. Okay. So then basically you're going to think about what actions that you're going to take before, during, and after the event. Okay, so some of the actions that we've talked about already before the event is we're going to do an inventory of the supplies that we have. We're going to identify a list of supplies that we need, food, water, medical supplies, etc. And then we're going to during the event, to identify the actions that we are going to take. So, for example, we're going to get everybody huddled into one room and close off all the rest of them in the house in a snowstorm. We're going to make sure that the food gets put out into the cold when the power goes out. We're going to start a fire. How are we going to start a fire? Where are we going to start the fire? What type of fire are we going to have? How are we going to do that? All of these are actions that you're going to take, and these need to be written down, because you may not be thinking straight when the event occurs. Now, snowstorm is pretty benign. It's not exactly something people get excited about for the most part after they're